I'm Richman, returns for a new season of History Channel's hit series, The Food That Built America. Adam, so great to see you. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you so much for having me.
I mean, this show gives the backstory, the inspiration for these iconic brands that we know, and that we love.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's possible to
Yeah.
watch any season of either Food That Built America or Mega Brands That Built America and walk through either a Home Depot or a supermarket the same way again, because you'll start noticing things and noticing nuances that you never noticed before. And the connection between certain companies is kind of remarkable.
Let's start off with, one of the first episodes that we get to see Mexico's influence, chips and salsa, something obviously very typical of Mexican restaurants, but how they became such a part of American culture.
I mean, it's such a crazy story when you realize, like, if I told the average American that Walt Disney had a huge role in the popularization of the corn chip and the tortilla chip, people would be like, yeah, right. But it's the truth that Casa de Frito at Disney World was making these little things with leftover tortillas, and they use the word for gold, dorado, and so the idea of little golden thing, the doradito, became Dorito. And but the idea that also a guy from the South, from the syrup business, going out to Texas, trying Mexican food and Tex-Mex food for the first time and going, salsa roja, what is this stuff? And now it's a condiment that outsells ketchup. So it's a very amazing way of how, if we really believe in the influences in the world around us and use our own ingenuity, you can become a mega billionaire, but also you really can change the trajectory of this country.
And I don't want to give too much away of the episode, but obviously, French onion dip, a big thing in the 70s, and dip culture had an influence on Doritos. You got to watch the episode to find out exactly how the two kind of came together. But I just thought that part was so fascinating. Another part, movie theater candy. I think we want to go see these big blockbusters. We want to go, we make movies our culture, and you think popcorn and a snack, but there's a history on how these movie theater snacks, came to be.
Absolutely. And the fact that movies were even looked at initially, remember, we're not that far off just chronologically from the creation of the talking picture from television. I mean, television, it's 1950, it's a less than 100-year-old innovation. The automobile itself is barely over 100 years old. So you have the movie theater after the Depression and stuff. People were going in just to have something to do, to be out of the heat, and so on and so forth. Having food at a movie palace was considered quite gauche. Now all of a sudden you can't imagine the movie theater experience, and in many cases the movie theater makes more from concessions than they do from the ticket sales and from the licensing fees from the studios. But there used to be like a coat check for your popcorn. The popcorn poppers were burning down the theaters because even that was fairly new technology. So it's kind of amazing too to see again how a visionary, how a little tiny candy company that was enrobing raisins in chocolate or tried to make a certain treat, and their little chocolate treats turned out to be duds, and a new candy craze was born.
What is your go-to at the movie theaters? Are you chocolate and popcorn? Are you gummy bears, gummy popcorn? What do you like?
Yes, so definitely popcorn. It's funny, I never drink Sprite anywhere but the movies, but it's got to be a Sprite. I don't know why. And then I'm a big fan of Goobers and popcorn, or Junior Mints and popcorn. Occasionally, I won't actually do the shake the thing around, but I will go handful. I will make the magic happen. Although now, like, the average movie theater is now turning into a restaurant that also happens to have movies. So now you can go and order a whole meal to your seat.
Yeah, exactly. Now you get burgers and pizzas and wings and all that kind of stuff.
That's the thing I think with this series is that, like, you go, oh my gosh, it's not, they're not being hyperbolic. Like, this brand really did change America. It changed the way we consume, the way we enjoy our pastimes, our behaviors. I mean, even the fact that you just asked me, what's your go-to order at a movie theater? And I'm sure everybody from a different era. I remember growing up seeing snow caps and bonbons and one thing. And now it's like, if my grandma were alive and I said, yeah, you want to get some nachos and a hot dog, she'd say, at the movie theater? And then now you can go to somewhere like Alamo Draft House and have like a kale salad and a cauliflower crust vegan cheese pizza with a microbrew. It's, that would not be possible if it weren't for the innovators that we showcase on this show.
And the other thing too, that's not lost on me is, obviously you growing up in New York, me growing up in Chicago, is that we're exposed to different cultures, different flavors, different textures, different levels of spiciness. But for lots of parts of the country, this might have, whatever product it is, might have been the first time that they're experiencing, any type of, these foods that we get to see on the show.
Absolutely. And being from Chicago, for example, just the fact that Heinz was on the L and he was just taking the train and happened to see a shoe store advertising something like 23 different varieties of shoes or 30 something varieties of shoes. And he liked the idea of a number being some kind of signifier and placeholder. And that was where the idea for 57 varieties, which is now imprinted in the glass on the bottle. But that was not going to happen if he had not been in Chicago, been on the L and seen it. And the irony is, at that time, Heinz had way more than 57 varieties. He just liked the number because it was his lucky number and his wife's lucky number, and that's it. But that's what I mean. Being in Chicago, taking the L, maybe he was going to the Art Institute, maybe he was going to Lou Malnati's, I don't know. But
and if you put it the right way, you can do both at the same time. Adam, thank you so much for your time today. The Food That Built America, new episodes coming to us February 23rd on History Channel.
Thank you so much.